In a world full of noise, two voices rise above the chaos. Ron and Brian. They speak truth. They stir thought. They accidentally help. News, nonsense, and necessary self-care. Join the cult of Ron and Brian. Because the work is so important.
All right. Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday night, the first Sunday of 2026. It is 8 o'clock, and it is time for episode 386 of the Cult of Ron and Brian. Joining me, as always, my good friend Brian. Brian, Happy New Year, and how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. I had a very quiet New Year. I know we're gonna, we'll talk about our New Year's plans. I had a quiet New Year's. But more importantly, New Year's is more than just one day. New Year's is the start of 365, and I feel really good. I feel very optimistic about 2026. I think this is going to be a great year, not just for the show, but also for me personally, spiritually, emotionally, monetarily. I think this is just going to be a great year. I don't want to talk too much about it because we're going to get to it later on when we talk about our predictions, but I am feeling very positive about 2026. How about you? What are your thoughts about this upcoming year?
I share that optimism and hope that 2026 will be a blessed year for all of us, for our listeners, for me, for you, everybody out there. But like you said, we've got a ton of stuff to get to. We've got our predictions. We've got death pool results. We've got news. We've got the work. And the work is so important, people. But let's get it started, as we always do, with our drink of the week.
Drink of the week.
Na zdrowie.
Salud.
Drink of the week.
Proszę.
Who's?
Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week.
Brian, what are you drinking for this first episode of the new year?
What am I drinking? I went to our good friends over at Gun Hill Brewing. Last week, they presented me with a great beer. I forgot it was the Italian Pilsner. I went back to them this week. I said, hey, your Pilsner was great. What else do you have? And they said, listen, it is time. It is New Year's. We are doing a Puerto Rican Noggin. This is a Coquito Stout. Ron, the hair on your balls
sounds intriguing.
The hair on your balls is going to stay on that. Look at the color on this thing. You can't see me. You literally cannot see my face through this beer. That's how brown it is. Do you remember the picture? You showed me a picture once of your high school girlfriend. And I'm going to say that this is my drink of the week. Let's talk a little bit about the Puerto Rican Coquito. This is an imperial stout inspired by the traditional Puerto Rican Coquito. It has thick, creamy, chocolatey, dark roast coffee notes at the forefront that meld into a complex coconutty, sweet, malty backbone. And you know me, Ron, when you hear coconutty, sweet, malty backbone, it's right up my alley. But it also has finishes of aromas of vanilla, cinnamon, and a dash of rum. Ladies and gentlemen, Puerto Rican Noggin from Gun Hill Brewing. This is my drink of the week.
That sounds like it's got potential to be great. Talk to me, my friend.
Oh, wow. Oh, there's a lot going on in here.
All right, talk us through it. He's going back for a second sip. Take us through the levels of this beer. So,
a lot of stouts that I've had, I feel like are very thin. They taste kind of watery and they just go down. Obviously, there's not as much. But what's the word I'm thinking of for fizz? No, fizz.
Carbonation.
Carbonation. Yes, it's not as much carbonation in a stout as there is like the lagers that I drink. There's a sweetnessy there. I'm definitely getting some vanilla. The rum you can definitely taste. I'm not getting coconut, and there's very little malt. So that backbone that they're talking about went right through me because I don't have a backbone myself. So it just filled that space there. I'm spineless. We all know that. This is a delicious beer. Once again, people, Puerto Rican Noggin and a Coquito Stout.
You have
Delicious.
more than one of those? Is this a 2 Coquito night?
Oh, by the way, did I leave out the fact that this is a 10.0
I was about to
ABV?
ask. I was about to ask what the alcohol content is.
This is a 10.0. I've got another. I've got a separate beer for after dark, which also. But combine this with the shot of Crown Royal I'm going to be drinking. I'll be feeling good by the night over.
Gonna be nice and sloppy by the time after dark rolls around.
Ron,
Yes, my friend.
not to change subjects, but
No.
what are you drinking?
So, I dug deep into the beer fridge for this one because there's not many things that can make me wistful for the Joe Biden administration other than, invading foreign countries and taking them over for their oil and natural resources. So that's why I dug into the fridge. I got the Dark Brandon Espresso Stout from the good folks at Minocqua Brewing Company. Out in Minocqua, Michigan, I believe that is. Not a 10%. This is only a 6%. But sales of this, they've got a super PAC that they use to support progressive candidates and causes. And again, similar to yours, you can't see through this. This is a thick, malty espresso stout. Let's see how it tastes.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, it's tasty. No lie, it's tasty. Not bitter, which I like. Sometimes you get those espresso stouts that are a little bitter. You get you get the caramel taste. You get the espresso afternotes. This is a solid beer, and I do have another one of these. So maybe I'll have a second one.
I think you should. I think you should take a deep sip. Though I do have a question, Ron. I could not help but notice a distinct lack of the Cult of Ron and Brian logo on your pint glass. Are you drinking a officially licensed podcast pint glass?
I'm in the old school Ron and Brian podcast glass.
You went OG. You went OG.
I went OG. Listen, what's old is new again. This is what we consider a keepsake now.
There we go. Limited edition. We're not making any more of those, people.
No, we are not.
All right. Either. Oh boy.
Hey, let's keep it rolling along. We got a little beef of the week coming at you.
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
Brian, as you take that shot of Crown Royal, what's bothering you this week?
This may seem silly, and I know that a lot of people are coming in with beefs that are legitimate, have worldwide complications. Mine does not. Mine is incredibly personal and a little embarrassing.
Okay.
I have I'm going to say the past maybe 6 weeks or so, absolutely increased my flatulent activity. I didn't change my diet. Okay. I have not. I worked out a little bit less than I had in previous months in the month of December. Absolutely gotten back on track, inspired by you, my friend. Inspired by you. I've been to the gym 5 times in the past week, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about my flight. So I have been farting left and right over the past couple of weeks, left and right. And what's worse, and the part that has truly started to bother me and concern me is my inability to differentiate. No, not taking probiotics, but why would that? Let's not get distracted. My inability to distinguish between a silent but deadly fart and a noise producing one. I used to be spot on. I could feel the pressure sliding through my lower colon, approaching the exit, and be able to say to myself, that one I'm going to hold in because I'm amongst people. I'm not going to let that one loose. Or I would sit there and go, no, that's going to be silent. And I would just kind of lean over in my seat a little bit or or lean forward. If I was walking, I would just kind of crop dust. Not a problem. What I've noticed lately, she's walking around. I don't want her to, you could see my lady walking in the other room. What I've noticed lately is I'll be sitting there watching TV with her, and I pride myself on the fact of not farting in front of her or in
Sure.
her brain. And I'll just be sitting out of nowhere.
Just sneaks out. Just sneaks right out.
I feel it coming. I'm like, oh, that's going to be quiet. That's going to be quiet. And I'm like, oh, hold on. And then it's like, I'll just get like this, like side eye look at me of just like, you American heathen. How dare you? How dare you? And it's just like, I don't know where it's coming from, but I have been farting so much over the past couple of weeks.
Like,
Not
are you
happy
eating
about it,
different
not pleased.
foods? Like, is your meals been
Same
more
diet.
rich? Same diet.
Same diet. I will be scheduling a physical this month. Isn't it time for both of us to get our annual January physicals?
I usually get mine in June, but maybe I'll just go get checked out just for the hell of it.
I usually do January. I thought there was one year where we did it around the same time.
I used to do January and June, and then when I went in June, he was like, "Yeah, I don't need to see you for a year now." But
that explains it.
Yeah.
But I will be doing a physical, and it will be a subject that will be discussed.
Okay.
It's farting a lot, Ron. Farting.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. Ron, what's your beef of the week?
Again, not a major thing, all things considered, with everything going on in the world. But my beef of the week, Brian, is when time off from work isn't really relaxing time off. When your wife puts together a list of things that she wants to get done for the week that you're off from work. So It's been between Christmas and New Year's, we've repainted her office. She needed new blinds hung. She needed new curtains hung. There was closets to be cleaned. There was clothes to be donated. Gym time, a lot of time at the gym also, because, apparently I'm not allowed to die, Brian. I need to live to be a good old age. But it's at a point where I'm like, I'm okay going back to work tomorrow, because that means my workload, I think, actually gets less going back to work.
Makes sense.
That's it. It's an easy one.
Now, here's my question. But my question to you is this: like, okay, so the two of you have time off. Your wife schedules activities, make sure that it's not a staycation on it. Do you feel you have the ability to say to her, "Hell no, biznatch, I'm not doing those things"?
I mean, I would say it a little bit more politely. There are times that she was like, "Oh, I have to go take a return to home goods, but you don't have to go if you don't want to." And so then I'd say, "Well, I clearly don't want to go to home goods."
Is there anything better than the phrase "you don't have to go"?
I hear that, and it's, I mean, apart from like maybe winning the Powerball, that would be the next level of celebration. Like, "Oh no, you don't have to go. I can do this. Oh, you know what? You stay in bed. I'm up early. I'll go take care of it myself." Oh,
it happens so rarely, and the worst part is the fact that you're the asshole, because no, I don't mean you personally. I mean the way I feel.
No, I mean as the way the other person in the relationship that wants to sit around and do nothing.
Well, also because they want to spend time with you. It's their idea to be like, "Oh, I thought we would go together and do this activity together," and you're sitting there being like, "No. I don't want to do. I don't like. I want to just leave me home for the next 45 minutes. It will make me so happy." And because the response is always like, "Oh, what? You don't want to spend any time with me?" And it's just like, there's no way to talk yourself out of that one. I have tried for decades to come up with an answer that will be perceived as anything less than an insult.
And I don't make it any easier, because, there are times that she'll be like, "Oh, do you feel like, coming with me to Nordstrom Rack to return this, this fifth pair of boots that don't fit well?" And my new built-in response is, "Well, I didn't have that on my vision board for today," which just really exacerbates.
Does she have a vision board?
She's talked about a vision board. She is all about vision boards. She uses
done
Pinterest.
it?
I think she uses Pinterest for her vision boards. I think she might be the only person still using Pinterest in the United States.
Knowing her, she signed up for Pinterest Premium and is paying $19.99 a month for it.
And doesn't know how to cancel it.
Nope, doesn't even know that she's paying for it. Ron, she makes her own money. You can't yell at her
You're right.
anymore.
You're right. You're right. Next up, we've got our stories of the week. Those of you that listen to the show regularly know that we like to grab a couple stories, make sure we get to them. And that's no different. These are our first 2 stories of the week for the year 2026. Brian, what is your story of the week this week?
Listen, is there anything we like more than watching millennials and Gen Zers or whatever they are just be fooled because of their slavish following of social media?
I always get a kick out of it.
Okay, so this past New Year's Eve, thousands of revelers, and I'm quoting the New York Post here, these are their words, not mine. Thousands of revelers were tricked by phony social media videos into gathering at Brooklyn Bridge Park to watch a grand fireworks display on New Year's Eve, only to find out the event did not actually exist. I saw the number of videos. I know I forwarded you a couple.
Oh, it was beautiful.
But it was just so amazing watching these like late 20-something-year-olds standing in the middle of a park near the Brooklyn Bridge, holding their phones up towards the bridge, counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, and then silence. Nothing happens. That's right. Accounts
well, even better than silence
in
in some of the videos is you hear the sound of actual fireworks in the very far distance. Like
there were fireworks down in Jersey City, so it was on
Right.
the other side of the Statue of Liberty. The number of videos that I watched, and I can tell you something. I'm not saying I gooned to them, but I could if somebody had put them all together in one. The number of videos of watching these people that were just having their hearts broken on New Year's Eve that they weren't getting a stupid firework. And the thing is this, they watched a video that was obviously computer generated and lied about was that, but never went to an actual responsible website to look up details of this. They just saw a video on Instagram and decided to spend their New Year's Eve.
This is what we're doing, honey. No, honey, we're not going to Times Square. We're not getting a table at the Times Square Applebee's. We're going to the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yes, and then just stood there. And then what I love is that like at 12:00, the strike of midnight, 12 o'clock. Then it was 12:01 and 12:02, and there were still people standing there waiting for the fireworks to go. Oh, did that make me so happy? That's my story of the week. Not criminally. Nobody was assaulted. Nobody died.
Sure.
Nothing. No terrible stories. Just watching people's souls being crushed brought me so much joy and glee. That's my story of the week. That's how we're coming into 2026. Ron, what have you got?
Well, Brian, it didn't take long for a Florida story to hit the show. We do love the Sunshine State for all of the content they give us. And this week, it's a Florida man accused of robbing a meat market while naked, wearing nothing but a face mask. This is a mugshot of Kobe Watkins, age 24. He was caught on a security camera making off with about $1,000 worth of product from BJ's Meat Market in Lake City last Tuesday, completely nude except for a covering over his face. He grabbed the money from a cash box in the store and fled. Cops say that while he was unclothed, he was not unarmed. Employees said he had what they believed to be a weapon covered with a cloth. They responded to the supermarket, and after forming a perimeter, found evidence including clothing and other items they believed to be connected to the robbery along his suspected route of travel. He was quickly located and arrested. He was taken, surprisingly, they took him to the hospital for a medical evaluation, Brian. Not sure.
Really?
Physical
or mental?
A little bit of both, I think. He was charged with armed robbery, exposure of sexual organs, grand theft, and criminal mischief.
Interesting, because last week we did a story about a guy stealing $1,000s worth of brisket. What's going on with people stealing meat?
You know what? It's the affordability crisis, Brian. People
Yeah.
people want a good cut of meat. They want a good cut of brisket, but they don't want to pay $23.99 a pound. I
Sure.
hear this is what I hear, Brian. I hear people have even gone so far as to use a self checkout at Whole Foods and steal pieces of meat without paying for them.
Can we talk about this or no? Should we talk about this first and foremost?
It's up to you if you want to talk about it.
Oh, I got in trouble. I feel like this is something we can talk about. Let's talk about it. You know me,
Okay,
I don't
let's
give a
talk
shit.
about it.
Okay. So, what was the meal that we had? There was some meal where, forgot what it was, where the lady sent me to Whole Foods to get some kind of like beef shoulder or whatnot, and it was a $90 piece of meat. I forgot what it was, but I remember
But it
paying for
wasn't.
some kind of
Remember
probably.
they didn't have the exact cut of meat that your lady
Sure.
wanted, so they substituted. So who knows? The
Correct.
cut she wanted may have been a $30 cut of meat. You
Sure.
ended up like a jabroni buying like a $90 cut of meat on the suggestion of the Whole Foods butcher.
And I paid for it. So this past week, the lady said to me, "You know what? For New Year's Day, I'm going to make a nice meal." So I said, "You know what? I will handle the meal New Year's Eve." I made us some chicken parm. Uh-oh. She's got the pillow right here. Okay, so for New Year's Eve, I'm telling the story. Sorry. On New Year's Eve, I made a wonderful chicken parm from scratch. I sent you and the wife photos. It was a
Your chicken
lovely
cutlets
meal.
look exquisite. Oh, it's getting
Get the hand. Oh shit, you didn't like it? You did like it. So I made chicken parm, delicious. Her contribution to the holiday menu was beef Wellington, one of my personal favorites. However, we know, affordability is a key word. It's a crisis that's going on in America right now. So I was sent to Whole Foods to pick up 1.25 pound piece of beef fillet. Now I don't know about you, Ron, but
and
in
that's a
the
tenderloin.
Philly,
Like you're really you want a
yeah,
nice cut of meat because you're
I want
serving it
center
on
cut,
the
center
rare
cut.
side. Yeah.
Correct. This is center cut. I said to me, like, don't fuck around, buddy. I want the primo. So
Whatever you give
that's
Jeff Bezos, that's the cut I want.
that's what I want. So he cuts off the piece, wraps it up. I didn't even look to see how much it was. Like I knew what I needed to get. It was not up for discussion. That's what I was walking away with. So I'm at the Whole Foods. I'll even announce the store that this took place in, the one on Broadway, Financial District.
Okay.
What are they going to do? So I literally, I picked up a handful of other things. Fresh jumbo shrimp. By the way, those were $23.99 a pound. Utterly delicious. Not going to lie. Dip those in some cocktail sauce. Ooh, delicious. Anyway, so I go to get online, and the line for the self checkout was incredibly long. People in the financial district at Whole Foods love doing self checkout. I imagine a lot of people had just a couple items, or they had this dastardly strategy to only ring up some of the items that they were purchasing. I don't know why people would do that.
No, unclear as to why you would do that.
In the art of storytelling, folks, this is called foreshadowing. So I then said to myself, you know what, fuck that line. I'm going to get on the cashier line. So I go to start walking onto the cashier line, which is much smaller. And then I heard somebody, one of the employees that was managing the area, said, "There's more self-checkout registers upstairs." Bingo. I was like, all right. So I get off the line, take the escalator upstairs, and now I see there's an even longer line for the self-checkout upstairs. I got screwed.
So now you're furious. Now you're just
Now I'm
absolutely
mad.
furious at this point.
And I'm looking for revenge. What can make me feel better? Now, keep in mind, at this Whole Foods, I don't know what happens when you go to the one in your Philly adjacent, lily white suburban, everything is great. Coconut water,
Let me
Foods.
just make sure I'm hearing you correctly. You're saying
Sure.
that Elkins Park is more lily white than the financial district of New York City.
Absolutely. Have you been down to Fide?
I have not.
You get a little bit of everything. A
Just the
lot
fact
of
that you call
tourists.
it Fide just fills me with rage and makes me not
Oh,
want to look at you.
good. Well, you call it Elkpa. I'm like, hey, how's your neighbor? You're like, oh, you mean Elkpa? So now I'm waiting on an even longer line, and now I'm angry, and it's just I'm looking at everybody else who I'm furious now at that they can afford to shop at Whole Foods, because I don't know how. I know you and your lady, you buy your groceries from Walmart, have those delivered, but supermarket runs, you guys go to Wegmans, and you have an amazing Wegmans, which I'm utterly jealous of. But Whole Foods is mad expensive. I don't understand people who can afford just doing their regular grocery shopping at Whole Foods. So I'm watching this and I'm getting bitter, and the line's moving up, and the line's moving up, and I'm getting more bitter, and I'm getting more bitter. I get to the front and I see they have 20 self checkout registers being supervised by one kid. Couldn't have been legal drinking age. There's no way he was legal drinking age.
All
No
right.
way. Just a kid all the way up front. And as a register opens up right by me, I'm on like the opposite end of him. There's no way he's watching me do this. So I do a move that I've done before, and I'm quite proud of it. What you do is you got your headphones on and you just start bobbing your head like you're listening to music
Yeah.
as you like ring up your items. You're like,
You got to keep the motion continuous. You got to make it seem like you're not doing anything suspicious.
and somehow my $64, it was actually 65, it was 64 and change. I'm rounding up to 65 for the purpose of the story. My $65 beef fillet did not register at the market, as well as, and this one I tried to. You know how they sell those like pre-made chocolate chip cookies where you get the dough and all you have to do, those things are utterly delicious.
Do you get the brown butter chocolate chip cookies there? Those are phenomenal. All right, sorry.
The sticker was on unevenly on the packaging, so when I went to go swipe it, it wouldn't register. I tried like 3-4 times and it would not register. So that also did not somehow end up on my receipt. So what should have been over $130 in groceries, my bill came out to 61. Walked out of there a champ, had a great meal. Thank you very much. Some people, I don't want to name names, took issue with my it's basically grand larceny. Yeah, it was theft.
Breaking the law.
Did not agree with me. And if we can peel the onion back on this show just one layer, your wife called to yell at me about this.
She did, yes.
Because she somehow said this is why her supermarket lost self-checkout, because people were stealing.
We went to Home Depot the other week, and all the self-checkouts in our Home Depot were taken out. And the woman was like, and this was me, not even noticing. I just figured she was just standing there to help people at what used to be the self-checkout. So I literally just grabbed the scanner off of the countertop. She's like, please give that back.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I'm like, we can't use this anymore.
As a society, we never should have accepted self-checkout. There should have been a consumer revolution as soon as self-checkout became the norm, where retail stores said, by the way, we're firing our cashiers. We are not going to give you a discount for you doing their work. And then we're going to raise all the prices due to inflation that we created. So I have no sympathy for that.
Fair enough.
None. Sorry for the tangent, but
that's
yeah,
right.
I stole $60 worth of meat from Whole Foods. Yeah,
listen, they'll survive. They will survive.
Like Jeff Bezos needs another fucking $1 billion. Not from me. Fuck that.
Well, Brian, since it is the first show of the new year, longtime listeners know what that means. It is time for predictions. That is where we look back on our 2025 predictions to see what we got right, what we got wrong, and then talk about our predictions for the upcoming year. So let's take a look at 2025 predictions. Brian, would you like to start with your first prediction from 2025 to see if you were correct or not?
Okay. My first prediction in 2025 was the war between Russia and Ukraine will come to an end. We all know that war is still raging on. Residents of the Ukraine are still besieged by Russian missiles. People are dying on a daily basis there. Ukraine is still fighting the good fight. They are still getting strong support from Europe, somewhat support from the United States and current administration. It's hard to be reliable in sense of how much they can depend on us. But that war is still going on. I was 0 for 1.
All right. My first prediction, Ron will continue to be the podcast champion of 2025, saving society from another failed Brian title reign. Oh, look, there's a title belt right there. All right. Nailed that one. Brian, what was your second one?
The United States military will attack at least one Middle Eastern country. Ring the bell, because on June 22nd, 2025, the United States Air Force and Navy attacked 3 nuclear facilities in Iran as part of the Israeli war under the code name Operation Midnight Hammer. That's right, 1 for 1 so far, people. Ron, what do you got?
I said the New York Yankees will win their 28th World Championship. Yeah, no, that did not happen. Didn't even make the World Series this year. Last year, they'd at least made the World Series. This year, not so much. Brian, what did you have?
Number 3, the stock market will end the year lower. The stock market had a strong year in 2025, with major U.S. indexes posting double-digit gains for the 3rd consecutive year, driven primarily by the artificial intelligence boom, a resilient U.S. economy, and interest rates cuts by the Federal Reserve. I am now 1 for 3.
All right. Mine, I thought this one was a bit of a reach, but I thought I could still hit it. Matt Gaetz will announce his campaign to become the next governor of Florida, promising to personally monitor the social media feeds of all girls in the state between the ages of 15 and 17.
They can't all be hits, but you hope for home runs.
You take big swings at times. It's what champions do.
Sure. Elon Musk will have a falling out with President Trump and be exiled out of favor. I will take credit on this one. The relationship between Elon Musk and Donald Trump started off the year as they were best buddies. Doge came into the White House and just started slashing jobs, slashing spending across the board, seemingly all in areas where Elon Musk's companies were under investigations by the federal government. It did hit a temperamental phase where they seem to have been on the outs, but of late, Elon and Don have seemed to be getting better now. I will take credit for that. I'm 2 for 2.
All right. Next up, I said Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will get engaged, causing Mrs. Ron to lose her job as she will be unable to focus on anything else until their wedding day. I'm giving myself partial credit. They did get engaged.
They did get engaged.
Managed to remain focused. So I'm gonna say I'm 2 and 2 right now.
Well, I agree with that one. I said, unlike you, the Los Angeles Dodgers will repeat as World Series champions. Who could forget the exciting Game 7 back in early November when the Dodgers and Blue Jays tied 3-3, went into extra innings. Dodgers did the work, win their World Series, repeated. I am now 3 for 2.
All right.
Ron, how are you?
Next up, the Supreme Court will put a hold on the USA TikTok ban until after Trump takes office. And now it looks like we have looks like Oracle is going to own it. Larry Ellison will put his grubby little hands on it. But we're both 3-2 so far. What's your next one?
This is the one I'm most proud of. William Esquire made his appearance on my prediction list. I said that Billy will score less than 25 points in the death pool. That's correct. Billy did not score a single point in the death pool in 2025. He picked nothing but people that would survive the year out, which is pretty impressive considering you're naming 20 names.
This is the second year in a row, we might say. I mean, we'll talk death pool later, but the second year in a row that William Esquire with the big goose egg.
Sure. Very embarrassing. Ron, let's hear your next prediction.
Next up, Luigi Mangione will be found not guilty for the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson due to jury nullification. Unfortunately, haven't even made it to trial yet. So
no, free my boy Luigi.
Yes.
Here's one that hurts me, not just emotionally, but also financially. I said that we will have more Patreon subscribers next year than we had at the beginning of the year. Wrong. Ron, due to your abandonment of the podcast, your focus on ChatGPT, and your total disinterest in our After Dark Patreon show, we now have less subscribers coming into 2026 than we did at the beginning of the year. This will be circled back. Put a pin in it. We will readdress during our championship debate just a few weeks from today.
All right. I had said that Jason Kelce will continue to infiltrate all forms of media as our podcast rebrands to the Ron, Jason, and Brian podcast. Mr. Kelce and I had some long, drawn-out conversations, but at the end of the day, could not make that partnership come to fruition.
Unfortunately, my insistence on hard pretzels instead of soft pretzels was a deal breaker for him.
Crushed it.
Yep. I also guessed this one wrong. I said that Ron will leave his wife and embrace the swinging furry community. Now, I'm going to say that, this one is still up in the air only because nobody has actually seen Ron's wife in months. It is possible she is buried under the plywood in his basement, and that it is also possible that you are living out your furry lifestyle in secret. I want an asterisk on this L.
All right, you hold on to that one. I
sure.
said
what do you got?
I said the Trump administration will cut all funding to Ukraine, resulting in Russia winning the war. While funding was cut, war still ongoing.
Sure. Drones are not as expensive as we thought they were. Here's another one I got. What? No, they're definitely not.
They're not.
Here's one I got wrong. Brian will sustain no injuries requiring ER or urgent care visits. That's correct. No trips were made to the ER, but there was a trip to urgent care for what I thought was a terrible case of allergies that turned out to be COVID-19. So there's nothing like walking in there asking for antibiotics for your allergies that are really bad. And then when they do the COVID test and they do a couple other tests, they walk out. And when the door opens and the doctor's handing you a bright blue facial mask before he walks in the room, it's not a good sign. So I did go to urgent care once, was diagnosed with being COVID positive. I'm going to take an L on that one, Ron.
All right. I said that Sean Diddy Combs will be found guilty of sex trafficking and prostitution, but will be acquitted on racketeering charges. Actually got that one right, so not too bad.
Well done. All right. This is my last one. I said that Brian wins the Super Bowl bet and returns as podcast champion. As I lean to the side and you look behind me, there is no podcast championship belt either one way nor the other, Ron. That belt remained Philly adjacent. And the nation's heartbreak continued.
And my final one for last year, I said Brian's gambling losses for 2025 will exceed $5,000, but will be less than $8,000. You
Nope.
didn't have that bad of a year, all
I
things
did not have.
considered.
No, I did not have that bad of a year. You were wrong on that one. So, of your predictions, how did you do?
I got 4. So, I mean, I think that's
I
not too
also got
shabby.
4. All right.
Well
What do you
done,
got
my
for
friend.
2026?
All right, my first prediction for 2026, I will continue to be the podcast champion in 2026, saving the world from another impotent Brian title reign.
Oh, that's offensive. I've got that the US and Denmark will announce an agreement to allow the US to annex Greenland. I think Trump is going to make more deals than we think. He's getting shit done. Not shit that we want or will benefit us, but will just feed
Right.
his ego. Yeah, I think he's going to get Greenland this year.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. My second one, the New York Yankees will not win their 28th World Championship. I'm using a little reverse psychology there.
Kind of hurtful. Makes you less of a fan. I've got that the Department of Justice will charge Joe Biden with crimes tied to the 2020 presidential election. I think Trump's going to continue obsessing over it, and I think he's going to force his Department of Justice to go after Biden.
All right, sounds very possible. My next one, I said a major airline is going to announce ultra basic seating. No carry-on, no checked bag, no seat section, no overhead lights. You get a plastic stool and a laminated photo of legroom.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I think it might just be. All right, what do you have?
I've got Erica Kirk will announce that she has entered into a romantic relationship, stating that that's what Charlie would have wanted. There's no way she's going to stay a single woman. As much as the grift she has ridden that wave, she is going to link up with another, right-wing MAGA, single male. Could be JD Vance. I'm not saying it's going to be him, but she's going to link up. Yes. What do you got?
I've got that Democrats will regain control of the House and the Senate in the 2026 midterm elections, but still won't be able to figure out how to pass any meaningful legislation.
Jesus Christ, I think you nailed that one.
All right, what do you got?
I've got that the Los Angeles Dodgers will three-peat, and if you paid attention to our After Dark of last week, it's all about three-peats. The Los Angeles Dodgers will three-peat as world champions.
I mean, listen, they're making moves in the offseason, so very possibly.
What do you got, Ron?
I said that Taylor Swift will take the year off and America will panic. Economists immediately issue reports about the Swift GDP gap.
Ooh. I've got that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will call off their engagement and not get married.
Oh, that would be, oh, God. I can't even imagine what that'll do.
Listen, the Chiefs aren't even making the playoffs this year. There's no way she stays with him.
Tay can't marry a loser. That's all it is.
Loser. What do you got, Ron?
AI releases an album and it's accidentally a banger. A fully AI generated artist hits #1 on the charts. The song slaps, and we hate that it slaps, but it does slap.
Ooh, I like that one. I like that one a lot. I said the stock market will end the year higher.
Woo! Let's hope you're right, my friend.
Ron, it's
all about 401ks.
It's all about my 401k at this point. That chick's got to rise. What do you got?
All right. Next up, and I'm feeling good about this one. All charges against Luigi Mangione will be thrown out due to police and prosecutorial misconduct.
Free my boy Luigi. Free him. Okay.
When you listen to all the shit that the Altoona police did, I can't imagine how any of that evidence is left to be presented in court.
It's almost like they were trying to frame him. I've got the Secret Service. I'm not going to make this happen. So back the fuck up. Donald Trump will be hospitalized for at least 48 hours due to a medical condition. I'm not saying anything's that it's not man-made. I'm just saying that
Right,
his health
right.
is failing. He will be hospitalized for at least 48 hours for something this coming year.
All right. My next one is millions of additional documents and photos from the Epstein files will be released, while the number of indictments of people mentioned in the files will remain at 0.
You may as no offense, you may as well have been like the sun will come up tomorrow. Come on,
I'll
yeah,
just give
exactly.
I'll give myself that one already.
I've got this. There will be a minor attack on U.S. soil perpetrated by Middle Eastern terrorists. Nothing major, won't be hundreds
Right.
dead, but there will be some type of terrorist attack by ISIS or an affiliated group on U.S. soil. And I'm not
All
talking
right.
something about some Arab guy who gets into a pickup truck and drives into
You're talking like
an East.
coordinated assault.
Yeah,
Yes.
there will be
All right.
some type of attack.
All right. Next,
Ron?
I say grocery stores will roll out VIP checkout. A major grocery chain will introduce a subscription tier that lets you skip the checkout line called Premium Shopping Access.
Is there something you know that we don't?
I'm just saying. I think this is the next money making opportunity for grocery stores out there.
And what is my prediction? That you and your lady will be the first people to sign up for that shit.
What's your next one, Brian?
Oh, we're VIP at Wegmans. Ron will leave his wife and openly embrace the furry lifestyle. I have gotten this wrong for 32 years, but I'm going to be correct one day.
You're feeling good. You're feeling good about it this time.
I'm going for it. Ron?
All right. And my final prediction for 2026, Brian will once again run for his condo board, narrowly losing to Mittens, the feral cat living in his parking garage. Wow, not even close. If you see up there, Mittens, 513 votes to Brian's 85.
I have bad news for you.
Yeah.
I missed the deadline when I was in London for applying for the board, so I will not be running for the board this year.
Damn it.
I just had other things on my mind. It just was not a priority. I wasn't thinking about it, and the deadline came and gone.
I understand.
My last one is that Ron will win the podcast championship debate.
Ooh.
I will win the Super Bowl bet and return as your podcast champion for 2026.
All right. Well, listen,
I love our predictions. It's a fun bit.
So we will hold on to those, and we will check those in a year to see if we can improve upon our performance this past year.
But speaking of bits, Ron, there is something that I believe is your best contribution to this podcast, which is our death pool.
Oh yeah.
About 18 years ago, you chimed in. I remember it was sometime between Thanksgiving and December. I believe it was 1983. You leaned over.
You might be
while
right.
we were at a bar in Albany. I remember you leaned over and you were like, "Hey, do you like being rewarded when famous people die?" And I remember, I think we were at QE2 down on Lark Street. And I remember I had a sip of my beer and I was like, "I do like being rewarded when famous people die." And you were like,
Right.
"I've got a thing for you." And I think that's how we met. We did our very first Albany-based WCDB death pool. We've been doing it every year since. It is one of my favorite bits. And we just closed out our 2025 death pool. And I'm going to say this, another amazing year in celebrity death predictions.
Listen, it was definitely one of the more active years in going through the years. As we had more points scored, we had more picks hit right. But a very similar result as we have seen in the past. Andrew H. coming in first yet again with 146 points. I came in second with 117.
Hold on, let's give Andrew a round of applause. I mean, 146.
A new record for
146.
points in a year.
That's
a
impressive.
new record.
That is so impressive, right? I mean, to just score that many points. Let's not knock you. Ron, you came in second. That is still very respectable.
With 117. Bob L came in third with 116. John B fourth with 67 points. And Susan B came in fifth with 59 points. But we can now acknowledge Andrew H as a 4-time Death Pool champion. So
that's amazing. That's really just amazing.
It really is. So as
to go.
No, I would say we will work to try and get him on the show next Sunday, as we often do. We get the I mean, he's probably bored with it by now. He's like, oh, I got to do the Ron and Brian podcast again because I won the Death Pool yet again.
I mean, I'm going to say this. There are rumors, and obviously these are rumors. They're speculations. I cannot speak to the accuracy of these comments, but there are rumors that Hollywood celebrities are paying off Andrew H. so that he does not put them on their death pool. Rumors had it that Ben Affleck 2 years ago wrote out a check 6 figures to Andrew H. because the early reports were that, his drinking problem, his gambling problems, he had just coming out of that failed marriage with J-Lo. Andrew H. sat there salivating and said, Ben, I'm very sorry. This is going to be your year. Rumors had it that Ben's people reached out to Andrew. Funds were exchanged. Andrew paid off his mortgage and then some. I believe that was the year that he put the addition on in the backyard.
I believe you're right. Yep.
The deck, the pool, whatnot. And Ben Affleck did not appear on Andrew H.'s list, and he is seemingly still alive. The man is the predictor of death in the way that, Don Francisco is the predictor that Hispanic people are going to love Goya beans. I mean, literally, his ability to just sit there and just, put down pen to paper at the end of December and predict a death. It is so impressive.
Well, let's see how he got there this year. He had 5 correct picks. Ananda Lewis, former MTV VJ.
Oh, yes.
Brian Wilson, of course, of the Beach Boys. Roberta Flack. Ryan Sandberg. It went heavy on athletes. Ryan Sandberg and Steve Mongo McMichael, all contributing to that 146 points. So again, kudos to Andrew. Just a solid performance. 4 titles. We've talked Dynasty. I think he's pretty much there. He's pretty much there as being a dynasty. Looking forward, we collected all of our 2026 Death Pool applications. We're going to give you some numbers as to what some of the trends were. So our top 2026 picks, we've got Bruce Willis. He was the number 1 pick in 2025. He is again the number 1 pick in 2026 with 8. Joe Biden and Donald Trump in there with 7 and 6 respectively. We've got 4 people that tied with 5 picks: James Vanderbeek, Ted Turner, King Charles, and Ron Jeremy. Ben Sass made the list for the first time with 4. Bill Clinton with 4, and NBA player Jason Collins with 4. Both Ben Sass and Jason Collins acknowledging that they are dealing with stage 4 cancer. So obviously they make the list. Looking at some year-over-year changes, Donald Trump was our biggest riser, picking up 4. James Vanderbeek picked up 3, and then Joe Biden and Bill Clinton were added by 2 additional people. Some big declines, but still on the list. Wendy Williams. She was the popular go-to. She was the second next to Bruce Willis last year.
Really?
Not a lot of people thinking she's going to pass away now. A drop of 5. And then we saw a drop of 2 with Ron Jeremy, Mitch McConnell, Willie Nelson, Dick Van Dyke, Bill Cosby, and Christina Applegate. Dick Van Dyke, interesting. He still ended up on some people's list, even though he has turned 100 and technically would be worth no points when he passes away.
Listen, if I were Billy and for the past 24 months, I would put Dick Van Dyke on the list
just to get one.
You got
just
something.
To say I did it.
Even if you're not going to get a point, you still go to like, hey, at least I got one right this year. It's a strategy.
And for something new this year, we had the system crank out some power rankings to see, just kind of based off of age and things of that nature, who is right now the odds-on favorite. Dom C came in first, odds to win 9.3%. The model says he's got the best balanced roster, a lot of late 70s, 80s names, quietly dangerous. So he's someone that if other people, their younger picks don't pass away, he could be right in there. William B, a constant performer. He's got an 8.5% chance. Model says high probability of consistent scoring. Again, a lot of older people on his list. Coming in third with an 8.4% chance of winning, Janelle. Slightly more risk with a very big ceiling. She's got a mix of Hollywood and rock star. The model says she will either win big or crash spectacularly. Then we've got Laura P, 8.3%. The model says it's a disciplined, steady build, the quiet killer of the pool. And then we have someone who plays under the name Celebrity Pool with a 7.5% chance, mid-pack mathematically with some unique edges. Andrew H., our 4-time champion, coming in just out of the top 5 at number 6. Apparently his big challenge for 2026, he's got a lot of shared picks in his list with other people. So he's going to need to rely on some of his picks that other people don't have to repeat as champion yet again. Brian, you came in 11th in the power rankings, and I came in 12th.
Ooh, that's not good.
So we'll see. Again, this is why they play the games, Brian, to see who's actually going to win. And one thing I did... Yes.
If there's anybody that's going to thread the needle to victory, it's Andrew H. I mean, he does not need all the people. I mean, he just has a consensus that is very popular. But if all those people hit, he's going to score all the points. He may not have a high scoring probability, but if there's a Grim Reaper in this set, it's Andrew H.
That's right. I mean, he does have one of the higher potential maximum possible points at 602, and his odds are at 7.3%. But again, that can change in the blink of an eye at a death pool.
Sure.
And I did want to also take a look back to see who top performers were lifetime. No surprise there. Andrew H. far and away has the most correct picks in the lifetime of the death pool with 19. Me in there second with 15. And then we've got 3 people at 13 with Jocelyn, Dom C, and William B. And looking at lifetime death pool points. Woo! Who's in top, Brian? Me. 444 points, very close behind Andrew H., 440. Both Andrew and I walking in very rarefied air. You're next with 207, Susan B. with 202. Bob L., we got to give props to Bob L. coming in 5th on this list when he's only completed the last 2 years. The only last 2 years, he's racked up 201 points.
He's pretty impressive. I had no idea that I scored that many points lifetime. I thought I've done very poor in this contest.
You are very hot and cold. You've had some years where you've been very consistent. And then you've had, let's call it, I mean, we're going to start calling it, you've had some William Esquire years. I think we're at that point where we can kind of coin that term.
Oh, that's very hurtful. That's very hurtful, Ron.
That is
I'd
true.
like to
Bob L did miss the deadline for the 2026 death pool.
What does that mean?
He's not in this year's competition. We had a few people who missed the deadline, and
When you say miss the deadline, did they enter and it was past the deadline, or did they just decide not to do it this year?
I don't know. I don't have that information.
Listen, it's possible, and I'm just throwing it out here as a possibility here, people. But is it possible that Bob L had a crisis of conscience and sat there and realized that he was so efficient, scoring 200 points in 2 years, and sat there and said to himself, I am not as good as Andrew H in predicting death, but if I put you down on my list, people will die, and just sat there and said, I am playing with fire. I'm playing with the gods, and I want no part of causing people's demise.
I mean, I think you have some people that are probably like, I need to find a death pool that Andrew H does not belong to. And that is the only way. Now, what is interesting, though, is if you go back to the years that Andrew didn't win, he had a year that he scored no points, and he had a year that he was like 18 or 19 points. So again, he can be hot or cold as well.
That's probably the year he let his sons make the entries for him, where he was just like, listen, this is child's play to me. This doesn't feed my ego in any way, and just let his sons pick names out of hats. That's possible. That would explain it.
We will see if Andrew has time to come on the podcast next Sunday to talk about 2025, to talk about 2026, and see how he feels about his chance to three-peat, which has never been done in death.
Never been done.
So he has a chance to continue setting records. He is the standard bearer for the death pool.
Oh, and Janelle just wants to
rub that salt in the wound.
So I think you do have to respond, Ron. Where did Billy come in this past year?
Billy may have tied for last place.
How many points was that?
0.
Fucking embarrassing. Just embarrassing. Embarrassing, I tell you.
Almost ran out of time. Brian, do we want to talk about Venezuela at all? How we went into another country and captured their leader.
Kind of feels like what we did in Panama 30 years ago when George Herbert Walker Bush went in and took out Noriega. Yeah, this is what the U.S. does. It is very clear. Listen, over in recent years, China has made great headway in Venezuela with foreign investment. Venezuela has leaned on the Chinese government for trade, which is considered the U.S.'s backyard.
Right.
And the other obvious yellow, big red flag in the whole thing is just the oil reserves that Venezuela controls, that we suddenly have just decided that I can't say he was democratically elected. I do feel like there's some chicanery going on.
He's not a good guy. Let's not be mistaken. He is a dictator. He took power, from the people. But do not believe that this has anything to do with fentanyl or drugs or anything like that.
No,
because it's there is such a small percentage of drugs coming from Venezuela, especially fentanyl. The bulk of fentanyl is coming from Mexico.
Didn't we just recently pardon
the former president of Honduras, who was a drug trafficker as well?
That was a drug trafficker also. So we don't really care about drugs. This is the ultimately, and let's be honest, how can we stop talking about the Epstein list for a week?
Well, and listen, they've got a lot of heavy crude oil, which is something that the U.S. has become very dependent on over the years. This allows us to become less dependent on Canada. It allows us to potentially hurt China, because China relies a lot on oil from Venezuela.
Sure.
And let's not forget natural gas reserves in the country, which have barely been touched. And then minerals. I mean, we're going to go run the country, and we're going to strip the country of everything that it has. And
No, Ron.
it's going to
Ron, you're thinking
Yes.
it's too obvious. We are not going to run the country. We are going to install a puppet government
right.
that will do whatever it is that we want. Marco Rubio is not going to become a viceroy of Venezuela. He's going. We've already started to talk that the vice president of Venezuela needs to get the fuck out because we don't see her as legitimate. We're going to put somebody. We're going to have a new democratic elections that will be rigged by the CIA to put a puppet government in place that will be completely dependent on America's guidance and direction. And it will be an economic boom for our oil industry. If you do not believe that I am shifting my stock portfolio into oil stocks tomorrow morning,
Go
along
heavy.
with everybody else,
Go heavy.
I'm already late to the game. But yeah, Maduro, he knew he was fucked weeks ago. It was just a matter of time. If I were him, I would have made a very big bet on Kalshi or whatever that prediction market stock
Somebody
app was.
somebody did make a big prediction. They put a new account made a $30,000 bet that Maduro would be gone by the end of January, cashed in for $400,000. I've heard a lot of rumors about who it might be, from Trump to Musk to
Trump's not
someone
Trump's
inside
not doing it. Trump's not doing it. If it was
Trump
Musk,
can't fire up a
30
computer.
grand. 30 grand doesn't mean anything to Musk. He wouldn't be doing it. It is somebody down the line who sat there and didn't tell his wife. He put his life savings onto Kalshi for about a day and a half, sweated the fuck out, had diarrhea incredibly just in case this thing didn't work, and is now sitting there telling her, what car do you want? I'm buying it for you. Ron, what a great episode.
What a great episode. And if you happen to cash in on Kalashi with Maduro's removal, spend that money on our Patreon. Go to cultofronandbrian.com. Yes.
What's the pronunciation of that app?
Kalashi?
Kalshi? Oh, I didn't know. I just pronounced it Kalshi. I said Kalshi.
I have no idea.
And
You could be right.
This is the year you and I do feel like this is the year you and I need to get involved in that. Just for some fun. Throw like $250 into a joint account and just have some fun for the year.
Because that worked out well with our stock market picks.
You say that, but we more than doubled our value this past year.
That's true. We're on our way back. Anyway, folks, if you've got money just burning a hole through your pocket, go to cultofronandbrian.com, click in the upper right-hand corner, become a Patreon member. If you join at the $10 level or higher, you get to join the Live After Dark, which takes place at 9:30. So in just about 23 minutes, we'll be doing that. On the last the last Sunday of the month, we do our pajama party. Where we let our listeners come in. We do a trivia contest. Last Sunday, it was Can You Beat Ron? And Janelle, sure enough, could beat Ron. It went down to a tiebreaker, but she was victorious for the second month in a row. She beat Brian the month before, beat me this past month. So if you join, you can be ready for Can You Beat Brian the last Sunday of January. Brian, like you said, just an outstanding episode, a great way to start off 2026. Yeah. Anything additional before we wrap this up and get ready for After Dark?
How's Labor Smart stock?
They're just about to get listed on the exchanges again. I think they've got their paperwork in place. I think it's looking pretty good for 2026.
You son of a bitch! I'm sitting. I believe I'm $3,000 down. I'm rounding up. I think it's closer to 2,800. But I fell for that trap, just like so many fucking people, and I'm stuck with worthless pieces of paper. Don't even exist. Ron, I'm going to say this to you. Man, 2025 was just another stellar year. This podcast, if it does anything, if it accomplishes absolutely anything, it's the fact that every week, barring some type of, a scheduling mix-up, 1
Sure.
week out of the year, 1 hour out of the week, I sit here and I chat with you. And I'm going to tell you something. I love this hour. I love this
Good
hour. I
time.
love the fact that people are watching. I love every comment that comes in, even when they're attacking me. I love the fact that somebody out there is sitting there watching us just ramble like fucking idiots and is just being entertained and coming up with comments. Your comments add to the value of this show. So
It
if
really does.
if you're watching live, don't be quiet. Jump into the chat. Janelle, you're always there. Billy, you're always there. I love it. Keep it up. Don't stop. To the people that are watching live that don't comment, don't be strangers. Let your voice be heard. Your comments are going to be received. And I look forward to doing this for another year.
Same. I can't say anything better than what you just said. So thank you all for joining us. We're looking forward to a great year ahead, and we will catch you all next Sunday night.
Thank you for joining us for the latest episode of The Cult of Ron and Brian. A non-tax deductible contribution can be made by subscribing to our Patreon. Visit cultofronandbrian.com and click on Become a Patron. We'll see you again next week.